I never thought my own husband would steal from me, but here we are. My name is Rose, and I'm 65 years old. I've been married to Tom for 30 years, and I thought I knew him. While I was working extra shifts at the hospital where I'm a nurse, Tom was planning something behind my back. His younger brother Jake was getting married to a fancy girl named Crystal, and they wanted the biggest wedding in town. I'll tell you everything. First, let me thank you for watching Granny's Voice. Please subscribe and tell us where you're watching from in the comments. We might give you a shout out in our next video. Today's special shout out goes to Sandra Stevenson from Fernandina Beach, Florida. Thank you for being part of our family. Now, let me tell you everything. The phone call came on a Wednesday evening while I was making dinner. Tom walked in grinning like he'd won the lottery. "Rose, honey, wait until you hear what I did today." I turned from the stove, already feeling worried. Tom only smiled like that when he was up to no good. "What did you do now, Tom?" I asked, stirring the soup. He pulled out his phone and showed me pictures of fancy wedding decorations. "I solved Jake and Crystal's money problem. You know how they've been stressed about paying for their dream wedding." My heart started beating fast. "What kind of solution?" Tom's chest puffed up with pride. "I sold your little apartment downtown. The one you bought before we got married." The wooden spoon fell from my hand and clattered on the floor. "You did what?" Tom kept smiling like he'd given me good news. "Got a great price for it too. More than enough to pay for Jake's wedding and then some." I stared at my husband of 30 years. "Tom, that apartment is mine. My name is on the papers." He waved his hand like it didn't matter. "Well, we're married. What's yours is mine, right? Besides, you never go there anymore." I felt like someone had punched me in the stomach. "I don't go there because I'm working to pay for this house and everything else." Jake suddenly appeared in our kitchen, carrying a bottle of champagne. He was practically dancing with joy. "Rose, isn't this amazing? Now Crystal can have her fairy tale wedding at the country club. We're talking 400 guests, a live band, imported flowers, the works." I looked at Jake's happy face. "Using money from selling my home." Jake laughed and patted my shoulder. "You can always buy another apartment, Rose. Besides, you're never there anyway. At least this way the money goes to something important." "Something important," I repeated slowly. The apartment wasn't just a building to me. It was the first thing I ever bought with my own money. It was my safe place when Tom and I had fights. It was where I went to think and be alone. And they sold it like it was an old car. "The wedding is in 8 weeks, Tom added. "We already paid for the venue, the food, and Crystal's dress. It's going to be the most beautiful wedding this town has ever seen." I looked at both of them standing in my kitchen, Tom beaming with pride and Jake bouncing with excitement. Neither one looked sorry or worried about what they'd done to me. "How exactly did you sell property with my name on it?" I asked carefully. Tom cleared his throat and looked uncomfortable for the first time. "Well, we handled the paperwork ourselves. You know how these things work. Husbands help wives with business stuff." My voice got very quiet. "You signed my name without asking me." Tom's face got red. "Don't make it sound so mean, Rose. We're family. We help each other." Jake rolled his eyes. "Come on, Rose. Don't be dramatic. It's not like you can't afford another place. You make good money as a nurse." The money I made working 12-hour shifts at the hospital, taking care of sick people while my back ached and my feet hurt. "And Rose," Tom said proudly, "we already put down money for everything. The country club, the catering, Crystal's wedding dress that costs more than most people's cars. It's going to be magical." I looked at their faces. Tom was so proud of himself. Jake was glowing with happiness. Not one of them felt bad about stealing from me. The apartment was my independence. My proof that I could take care of myself. My escape when life got hard. And they sold it for a party. "Rose," Tom said when I stayed quiet, "say something. Aren't you happy for Jake?" I forced my face to look calm. Years of dealing with difficult patients taught me to hide my feelings. "Congratulations, Jake. I'm sure it will be a lovely wedding." Jake clapped his hands together. I knew you'd understand. You're the best sister-in-law ever. I had to get out of that kitchen. I need to make some phone calls, I said, walking toward my bedroom. Work stuff. Tom called after me. Of course, honey. We love you. I closed the bedroom door and sat on my bed, staring at my reflection in the mirror. They thought they'd played me perfectly. The sweet old wife who'd swallow this betrayal with a smile and maybe even help pay for more wedding stuff. They had no idea what they just started. I picked up my phone and called my friend Linda, who worked at the bank. Linda, it's Rose. I need a big favor, and it's going to get messy. Linda answered right away. Rose, what's wrong? You sound upset. I took a deep breath. Tom just sold my apartment without telling me. He forged my signature and used the money for his brother's wedding. Linda gasped. Rose, that's stealing. That's against the law. I walked to my window and looked out at the garden I'd planted. It gets worse. They've been using my credit cards for wedding expenses, and I just found out they borrowed money using this house as security. Linda was quiet for a moment. How much money are we talking about? The apartment was worth about $300,000. They probably got close to that, maybe more because property prices went up. Linda whistled. Rose, honey, do you have copies of your apartment papers and bank records? I walked to my filing cabinet. Everything's right here. I always keep important papers safe. Smart woman. What else do they have access to? I sat down heavily in my chair. This was the part I'd been afraid to think about. Linda, remember when I started that small business 5 years ago? Rose's cleaning service. Linda's voice got sharp. What about it? I took a deep breath. I changed the apartment ownership to my business name. Tom thinks he sold property I owned myself, but really he just committed a crime against my company. Rose, you brilliant woman. So the sale isn't legal at all? Linda said. Not at all. But there's more. I opened my desk drawer and pulled out a folder I'd hoped I'd never need. Linda, who do you think has been paying Tom's credit card bills for the past 6 years? Silence. Then Linda said, Oh no, Rose. Tell me you haven't been. Had been. Through my cleaning business I'd been paying Tom's debts, his car loan, even Jake's college loans. All of it anonymous, all of it secret. How much, Rose? $2,000 every month. Plus I'd been covering their bar tabs, their vacation expenses, and half of Jake's rent. All through accounts they couldn't trace back to me. Rose, you've been paying for their whole lifestyle while working yourself to death at the hospital. Linda's voice was getting angry. And now they sold your home to pay for a party. A $200,000 party. Linda was quiet for a long time. When she spoke again, her voice was different. Dangerous. What do you want me to do? I smiled for the first time since Tom came home. First, I want you to cancel the apartment sale. Fraud makes it illegal anyway. Linda's voice was firm. Done. What else? Open my laptop. Stop all payments to Tom and Jake immediately. Credit cards, loans, everything. Rose, that will put them in serious trouble. They'll owe thousands of dollars they can't pay. I knew they'd lose their cars, their credit cards, everything. They should have thought about that before they stole from me. Linda sighed. Okay. Anything else? I started typing on my computer. I'm sending you papers showing every payment my business made for them. Bank records, receipts, everything. I want you to prepare a complete report. Linda asked. For what? I looked out my window at Tom working in the garden, happy as could be. I'm going to give it to them right when their wedding bills start bouncing. You're really going to destroy them over this, Linda said. They destroyed themselves when they forged my name. My phone buzzed with an email. I looked at the sender and felt cold satisfaction spread through me. Linda, I have to go. I just got an email from someone named Patricia. She says she's Jake and Crystal's wedding planner. Linda asked, What does it say? I opened the message quickly. She's having trouble with payments. Wants to talk to someone from the family right away. The checks were already failing. Looks like it. Tom probably wrote checks before the money was really in the bank. Linda laughed grimly. You can't spend money from illegal sales. They're about to learn that the hard way, I said, closing my laptop and walking to the kitchen where Tom was making coffee. How long will it take to cancel the sale? Linda thought for a moment. I can start the paperwork tomorrow morning. With the fraud evidence, we should have everything stopped within 2 days. Perfect timing. That gave them just enough time to make things worse for themselves. Linda, are you sure about this? Once we start, there's no going back. Tom will know exactly who's been paying his bills all these years. I thought about Tom's proud face when he told me he'd sold my apartment. How he dismissed my feelings like I was being silly for caring about my own home being stolen. Good. I want him to know. I want him to understand exactly what he threw away. Linda's voice was strong. All right. I'll start working on the papers tonight. After we hung up, I sat in my kitchen listening to Tom humming while he washed dishes. He was so happy with himself. I opened my laptop and began looking at Patricia's emails. 3 more had arrived while I was talking to Linda, each one more worried than the last. I started typing a response to the wedding planner. Not to help, but to watch everything fall apart. Dear Patricia, I understand you're having payment problems with the Jake and Crystal wedding. Unfortunately, I'm dealing with legal issues and can't help with money matters. You should contact the family directly about other ways to pay. Good luck with the event. I hit send and opened a new internet page. Time to research wedding cancellation rules and what happens when vendors don't get paid. My phone buzzed again. Another email from Patricia marked urgent. I deleted it without reading it. Let the games begin. The next morning brought chaos, and I watched it all happen from my kitchen table. My phone started buzzing at 7 a.m. with messages from Tom's family group chat that I'd left months ago. I joined it again just to see the drama. Jake texted, "The flower shop is being really mean about payment timing." Tom replied, "Don't worry, son. I'm handling it." Jake wrote back, "But what if they cancel our flowers? Crystal picked them specially." Tom texted, "Everything's fine. Just some bank delays." I took pictures of their conversation and sent them to Linda with a message. "It's starting." My phone rang with a call from Linda. "The cancellation paperwork is filed," she said right away. "Judge Williams is looking at it this afternoon." I asked, "How long until they freeze the money?" Linda said, "If the judge agrees, the bank will get the order by closing time today. All money from that sale gets locked up while they investigate." Perfect timing. Crystal's dress fitting was today, and they probably needed to make a final payment. "You're enjoying this too much," Linda said, but I could hear her smiling. "Am I?" Let me read you the latest email from Patricia. I found her message from 30 minutes ago. "Dear Rose, I'm writing because I can't reach Tom or Jake, and several vendors are threatening to cancel because of payment problems. The food deposit bounced, the venue wants immediate payment, and the band wants cash up front. Please call me immediately." Linda whistled. "Ouch. Wait, there's more." Patricia sent another email 10 minutes later. "Rose, I'm starting to panic. Jake keeps telling me everything's fine, but I have 20 vendors asking for money and Tom won't return my calls. My business reputation is at risk here." Linda shook her head. That poor woman. She was about to learn an expensive lesson about checking if people actually have money before planning their events. My phone rang. Tom's picture appeared on the screen. Him smiling at last year's Christmas dinner with his arm around Jake. "Speak of the devil," I said. "You're not answering." Linda asked. "No way. But I'll put it on speaker so you can hear the voicemail." The call went to voicemail and Tom's voice filled my kitchen. He sounded stressed and was trying too hard to sound normal. "Hey Rose, it's Tom. Just wanted to chat about some small banking problems we're having. Nothing serious, just some timing issues with the apartment sale. Give me a call when you can. Love you." "Small banking problems," Linda repeated. That's one way to put it. Tom had no idea what was coming next. My laptop made a sound with another email. This one wasn't from Patricia. It was from someone named Marcus at the country club. Dear Mrs. Rose, we've tried to process the venue deposit several times, but all payments have failed. According to our contract, we need full payment within 24 hours or we'll have to give your date to other customers. Please contact us immediately. The venue was canceling on them. Looks like it, I said. And if I know Jake, he's probably posted about this wedding all over Facebook. The embarrassment alone will kill him. Rose, Tom is calling me now, Linda said. Don't answer. Let him worry. Linda said. Too late. I already declined it, but he left a voicemail. She put her phone on speaker. Tom's voice came through, high-pitched and panicked. Linda, this is Tom, Rose's husband. I know you and Rose are close, and we're having some confusion with our bank. Could you please ask Rose to call us? It's about the apartment sale and there seems to be some kind of legal problem. We really need to talk to her. A legal problem. I repeated. That's cute. They're starting to figure it out. My phone buzzed with a text from Jake. Rose, why aren't you answering Tom? This is my wedding day coming up. I need you to fix this. He was still making it all about himself. Linda said. Of course he is. He's probably telling Crystal that you're being dramatic and difficult. Speaking of Crystal, I wondered if she knew what was happening. Not yet, but she will. Her family has money and they know how to spot financial crimes. Another email appeared. This one from a vendor I didn't recognize. The subject line said, Jake wedding, payment needed immediately. I showed Linda my phone screen. Look at the bank records you sent me, Rose. Tom and Jake have been living way beyond their means for years. Without your secret payments, they're completely broke. I knew this was true. Their mortgage payment was due in 10 days. I know, Linda. She said. Rose, what? They're going to lose everything. I stared at my reflection in my phone screen, seeing someone harder than I used to be. They stole my home, Linda. They committed fraud. They've been using my money for years while treating me like I don't matter. And when I needed them to respect the one thing that was truly mine, they sold it without a second thought. Linda's voice was gentle. I know. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just making sure you understand what will happen. I understood perfectly. My phone rang again. This time it was Jake. Answer it, Linda said. Let's hear what he has to say. I let the call go to voicemail and waited. Jake's voice was angry and panicked. Rose, what the hell is going on? Patricia is freaking out. The country club is threatening to cancel. And Tom is acting weird. You need to fix this right now. My wedding is in 7 weeks, and I am not letting you ruin it with whatever drama you're creating. Call me back. Whatever drama you're creating, Linda repeated. Unbelievable. He still thinks this is your fault somehow. I asked. What's my next move? I opened a new document on my laptop and started typing. I'm preparing a special gift for my husband's family. Bank records, payment histories, legal documents, everything they need to understand exactly how much trouble they're in. Linda asked, when are you sending it? I looked out my window at Tom pacing in the backyard with his phone pressed to his ear. Tomorrow. Right after Crystal's dress fitting gets cancelled. My phone lit up with another call from Tom, then Jake, then a number I didn't know. I turned off the sound and smiled. Let them panic. They're about to learn that actions have consequences. Linda laughed. And Rose. I said, yeah. Remind me never to make you angry. I laughed too, but there was no joy in it. Too late for them to learn that lesson. The legal papers hit at 4:15 p.m. their time. I knew because Linda called me the moment the bank froze everything. It's done, she said. Every penny from that apartment sale is locked down while they investigate the fraud. I asked, how long until they find out? Linda said, probably when they try to pay for something. Could be minutes. Could be hours. My phone exploded with notifications. Tom's family group chat was going crazy. Tom texted, what the hell is happening with our bank accounts? Jake replied, the bank says there's a legal hold on our money. Crystal wrote, What does that mean? Tom said. I'm calling Rose right now. I took pictures of their panic and sent them to Linda with a message. Found out sooner than expected. Tom's call came through immediately. I let it ring and then played the voicemail on speaker. Rose, I don't know what kind of game you're playing, but you need to call me back right now. The bank froze our accounts and they're talking about fraud investigations. This isn't funny anymore. A game. Linda raised her eyebrows. He thinks this is a game. There was more. Jake's voicemail came next, his voice shaking. Rose, please call us. There's been some terrible mistake with the bank. They're saying the apartment sale was illegal, but that's impossible. Or family. Please, we need your help. Then Crystal's voice, pure anger. Rose, I swear if you're behind this, I will never forgive you. My wedding is ruined. Patricia just called crying because nothing is paid for. Fix this now. Still making it all about herself, Linda observed. She has no idea how much worse it's about to get. I opened my laptop and pulled out the special package I'd been preparing. Bank statements, payment records, mortgage documents, everything showing exactly how much money I'd been giving to Tom's family for years. I'm sending it now. The whole package, every last document. I want them to understand exactly what they've lost. I attached the files to an email and typed a simple message. Since you're having banking problems, I thought you might want to review your financial history. Pay special attention to the payments from Rose's cleaning service. That's the company that's been covering your credit cards for the past 6 years. The same company that actually owned the apartment you just tried to steal. Consider this my resignation as your secret benefactor. Best of luck with the wedding. Rose. I hit send and immediately called Linda back. It's done. They should get it any minute now. Linda said. Rose, you just destroyed them completely. I replied. They destroyed themselves when they forged my name. My phone started ringing again. Tom, then Jake, then Crystal. I declined every call and watched the voicemails pile up. Play the latest one, Linda said. I put Tom's newest message on speaker. His voice was different now. Scared, desperate. Rose, we got your email. We need to talk. Please. I know you're angry, but we can work this out. We're family. You can't just. Please call me back. He was starting to understand. Wait, here's Jake's message. Jake's voice was barely a whisper. Rose, I don't understand. You've been. All this time you were. God. What have we done? Please call us. We can fix this. Then Crystal screaming. You psychotic witch. You've been controlling our lives this whole time, playing puppet master while pretending to be the victim. Hate you. My wedding is destroyed because of your sick revenge fantasy. And there's the real Crystal, I said. She's still not getting it. My laptop chimed with an email from Patricia. The subject line read, Urgent Jake wedding cancellation. The wedding planner was giving up. I opened the message and read it out loud. Dear Jake and Crystal, because of non-payment and the current legal issues with your accounts, I am forced to cancel all services for your wedding. All vendors have been notified. I will be taking legal action for damages to my business reputation. Do not contact me again. Ouch, Linda said. It gets better. Look at this. I pulled up Crystal's Facebook. Her latest post from this morning showed her at the bridal salon, beaming in her wedding dress with the caption, Final fitting before the big day. Can't wait to marry my prince. #blessed, #bridezilla, #dream wedding. The comment section was brutal. Didn't your wedding just get cancelled, girl? The drama is spilling on Facebook about your family. Is it true Jake's family committed fraud? Your wedding planner is dragging you on her business page. Yikes. She was being roasted alive online. Linda said, Public embarrassment was always Crystal's worst fear. My phone rang again. This time it was a number I didn't recognize. Answer it, Linda said. Might be interesting. I said, hello. A male voice replied. Is this Rose? This is David, Crystal's father. I put him on speaker and gestured to Linda. Hi, David. I'm sorry to hear about the engagement problems. He said, "Are you? Because from what I'm hearing, you planned this whole thing." I replied, "I didn't plan anything. I just stopped allowing fraud." David was quiet for a moment. "Look, I need to understand what happened. Crystal's telling me you sabotaged her wedding out of jealousy. But the legal documents suggest something else entirely." "What do the documents suggest?" "Yes," David said, "that Tom and Jake stole your property and committed bank fraud. Multiple crimes, actually." I replied, "That's correct. And you've been financially supporting them for years without them knowing?" "Also correct." David was quiet for a long time. "Jesus Christ. Crystal has no idea, does she? She really thinks you're the villain here." I said, "Crystal thinks whatever makes her feel better about herself." David sighed. "I can't let my daughter marry into this family. This level of deception, the fraud, the way they treated you. I can't be part of it." That was probably wise. For what it's worth, I'm sorry. What they did to you was unforgivable. After he hung up, Linda whistled. "Even Crystal's father figured it out." I said, "David's not stupid. His family has money and they know how to spot criminals." Linda said, "So Crystal lost her wedding, her fiancé's support, and Jake's family's about to lose their house." I added, "Don't forget her social media reputation." Linda said, "Rose, your phone's lighting up again." I looked at the screen. 23 missed calls, 31 unread voicemails, and 52 text messages. They're in full panic mode. Linda asked, "Are you going to answer eventually?" I replied, "Maybe when I'm ready to hear them beg." I turned my phone face down and smiled. Let them sit with what they've done for a while. They've had years to treat me like family instead of a bank account. Now they get to learn what life looks like without me. Linda said, "Rose." I said, "Yeah. Remind me to never cross you." I laughed. And for the first time in days it felt real. Too late for them to learn that lesson. By the next morning, the situation had exploded beyond anything I'd expected. Linda called me at 8 a.m., her voice tight with urgency. "Rose, you need to see what's happening online. Crystal's having a complete breakdown on social media." I grabbed my laptop and pulled up Facebook. Crystal's account was a disaster. She'd posted a 15-part rant at 4 a.m. and it was still going. I read out loud, "My psycho mother-in-law has destroyed my life. She's been secretly controlling our family's finances for years like some kind of puppet master. She stole my wedding money and got my fiancé's father to break up with us. She's a manipulative, jealous hag who can't stand seeing me happy." Got worse. Linda said, "Keep reading. Rose has been pretending to be poor while secretly being rich and making us beg for money. She's sick and twisted and I hope she dies alone. She ruined my perfect wedding because she's a sad, lonely workaholic who will die miserable." The comments were brutal. I scrolled down. Hundreds of responses and most of them weren't supporting Crystal. "Girl, your mother-in-law was paying your bills and you're mad at her for stopping? That's messed up. Wait, so she was helping your family and you're angry at her for it? Make it make sense. This sounds like your family committed fraud and got caught. The audacity to call someone manipulative when you literally stole their property." She was getting destroyed in the comments. Linda said, "It's not just Facebook. Someone took pictures of her rant and posted it on Twitter. It's gone viral. The post has 20,000 likes and 5,000 comments." I asked, "What's the general opinion?" Linda replied, "That Jake's family are entitled fraudsters who got what they deserved." My phone started ringing. Tom's picture appeared. "Answer it," Linda said. "I want to hear this." I put it on speaker. "Rose, thank God. We need to talk." I asked, "Do we?" Tom's voice was desperate. "Please, honey. Come home. We can work this out as a family." I replied, "The same family that sold my home behind my back?" Tom said, "We made a mistake. Terrible mistake. But we can fix it." I asked, "How exactly do you plan to fix fraud, Tom?" He said, "Don't call it that. or family. We were just borrowing against your property. I said, by forging my signature. Rose, please. I'm having chest pains from the stress. Jake's been crying for 3 days straight. We need you. Where was this concern when you were spending my money? Yes. Tom said. We didn't know it was your money. You never told us about the cleaning company or the payments. We thought we had a guardian angel. I replied. You did, and you betrayed her. Tom pleaded. Rose. I hung up and immediately got a text from Jake. Answer your phone, you selfish witch. Tom's having a panic attack and Crystal might be having a breakdown. This is your fault. Classy as always, Linda observed. Wait, there's more. Another text from Jake. Crystal's family is telling everyone we're criminals. Her dad called me a fraud and said I'm lucky they don't press charges. I can't show my face anywhere because of what you did. He was still making himself the victim. Linda said. Of course he is. Look at this email. I opened a message from someone named Sarah at First National Bank. Mrs. Rose, I hope you don't mind me reaching out directly. I'm the loan officer who's been handling Tom's account. I wanted to give you a heads up that he's been in here 4 times this week trying to get emergency loans using your apartment as security. When we told him the property was tied up in legal proceedings, he became aggressive. Security had to escort him out yesterday. Tom got kicked out of the bank. Sarah continued. I probably shouldn't be telling you this, but they also tried to take out a loan against their car and were denied because of their debt problems. Without the secret payments they were receiving, they're completely broke. Sarah thought I should know in case they tried to contact me for money help. They were desperate, completely broke, and now everyone knew it. My laptop chimed with a video call from an unknown number. I almost declined it, then recognized the background. It was Patricia, the wedding planner. I have to take this, I said. I answered, and Patricia's face appeared on screen. She looked exhausted, her usually perfect makeup smudged. Rose, I'm so sorry to bother you, but I need to ask you something. I said. Go ahead. She asked. Did Jake's family really forge your signature to sell your apartment? I replied. Yes. And you've been secretly paying their bills for years? She continued. Yes, I confirmed. Patricia closed her eyes and took a deep breath. I'm ruined. Completely ruined. 20 vendors are suing me for breach of contract because I guaranteed payment for services I can't deliver. My business insurance won't cover fraud-related losses. I said, I'm sorry that happened to you. Patricia continued. Crystal keeps calling me screaming that this is all your fault and demanding I fix it somehow. She wants me to eat the costs and provide services for free to make up for the confusion. That sounded like Crystal. Patricia, I have to ask. Is there any way you could help? Not for Jake's family but for me. I'm going to lose everything because I trusted them. I looked at Linda, who shook her head slightly. Patricia, I understand you're in a difficult position, but my family committed fraud. I can't enable that by covering their debts. She said, I know. I had to ask. I suggested. Have you considered suing them for damages? Patricia replied. With what money? They're broke and my lawyer says you can't get blood from a stone. After she hung up, Linda leaned back in her chair. That poor woman. She's collateral damage. I said. But she chose to work with my family without doing proper checking. Linda said. Rose, your phone's ringing again. This time it was a number I didn't know with our local area code. Hello, is this Rose? A professional voice asked. This is Detective Martinez with the Fraud Division. We've received a complaint about forged documents related to a property sale. We'd like to speak with you when you're available. I put him on speaker. What kind of complaint? Yes. Detective Martinez explained. Tom filed a report claiming you're harassing them financially and that the apartment sale was legitimate, but the bank's investigation suggests otherwise. I said. The sale was fraudulent. I have documentation proving it. He replied. We'd like to review that documentation. When can you come in? I said. Tomorrow morning works for me. He said, perfect. We'll be in touch. After he hung up, Linda whistled. They actually called the police on you, I said. They're trying to flip the story. Make me the criminal. Linda replied. That's not going to work. The evidence is too clear. My phone buzzed with another text from Crystal. The police are involved now because of your psycho revenge plot. You've destroyed our entire family. I hope you're happy. I showed Linda the message. She still doesn't get it. Linda said. She never will. In her mind, she's always the victim. I asked. Linda, are you ready for what comes next? This is about to get very public and very ugly. I looked out at my garden, thinking about the family I'd once trusted, the husband I'd once loved, the brother-in-law I'd once helped. Let it get ugly. They made their choice when they decided to steal from me. And if they end up in jail, then they'll have plenty of time to think about what they did. My phone rang again. This time I didn't even look at who was calling. They can keep calling. I'm done being their safety net. Linda said. Rose. I replied. Yeah. For what it's worth, I think you're doing the right thing. Said thanks. But right or wrong, there's no going back now. The phone kept ringing. I turned it off completely. Some bridges are meant to burn. The surprise attack came at 11 p.m. My house phone rang, waking me up. The caller ID showed Tom's cell number. Rose, thank God. Tom's voice was desperate. We've been trying to reach you for days. I knew they had been. We need to talk. All of us as a family. I heard shuffling, then Jake's voice, thick with tears. Rose, please come over. We can work this out. I asked. Can we? Because last I checked, you committed fraud. Tom snapped. Don't say that word. Or family. Families don't commit fraud against each other. I replied. Families don't steal each other's homes either. Crystal's voice cut through, shrill and furious. You ruined my life. My wedding is destroyed. David won't even look at me, and everyone thinks we're criminals. You are criminals, I said calmly. Jake's voice cracked. We needed the money, Rose. You have so much. And you never share it with us. I replied. I've been sharing it with you for 6 years. $2,000 a month for your credit cards, plus car payments, and Crystal's shopping habits. There was silence. Then Tom's voice, barely a whisper. That was you. I said. Rose's cleaning service, my company. I've been keeping you afloat while you treated me like I didn't matter. Tom asked. Why didn't you tell us? I replied. Because I knew you'd take it for granted. Just like you took everything else. Jake pleaded. Rose, please. We're going to lose our apartment. The bank is starting eviction proceedings. Good, I said simply. How can you say that? Crystal screamed. This is our home. I replied. The home you were willing to sacrifice my apartment for. Crystal said. That's different. I asked. How is it different, Crystal? She stammered. Because you don't even live there. You're always working at the hospital. I said. So that gave you the right to steal it. Tom's voice was pleading now. We weren't stealing. We were using family resources for a family celebration. I said. By forging my signature. Jake said. Rose, we made a mistake. A big mistake. But we can fix this. You can stop the eviction. Help us pay back the vendors. No, I said firmly. Tom asked. What do you mean no? I replied. I mean no. I'm not fixing this. I'm not paying for Crystal's wedding. I'm not saving your apartment. I'm done. Crystal's voice cracked. You can't be serious. I had never been more serious in my life. Jake said. Rose, please. Sorry. Okay. I'm sorry we sold your apartment, but you can buy another one. You can't replace my wedding day. I said. Watch me not care. Crystal screamed. You're being cruel. I replied. I'm being honest. For the first time in years, I'm being completely honest with all of you. What's that supposed to mean? Mask. I took a deep breath. It means I'm tired of pretending we're a loving family when you only love what I can do for you. I'm tired of being the responsible one while you treat me like a bank. I'm tired of watching you spoil Crystal while taking everything I give you for granted. Tom protested. That's not true. I asked. Isn't it? When's the last time any of you called me just to see how I was doing? When's the last time you asked about my life, my work, my happiness? Silence. When's the last time you thanked me for anything? For the money, for the support, for always being there when you needed me. More silence. You can't answer because it never happened. I was never your wife or sister-in-law. I was your solution to every financial problem. Tom said weakly. Rose, that's not fair. I replied. What's not fair is selling someone's home behind their back. What's not fair is forging legal documents. What's not fair is spending 6 years taking secret payments and never once wondering if you should be more grateful. Tom said. We didn't know they were from you. I replied. But you knew someone was helping you. Someone was keeping you from losing everything. And you never once thought maybe you should live within your means instead of relying on charity. Crystal said weakly. It wasn't charity. I replied. It was exactly charity. And you repaid it by stealing from me. Jake was crying now. Rose, please. I'll do anything. I'll pay you back. I asked. With what money? You don't have a job. You've never had a job. You're 28 years old and you've never supported yourself for a single day. Jake protested. That's not my fault. I asked. Whose fault is it? Tom always said you didn't need to work because Crystal's family had money. Crystal said. And how did that work out for you? Tom said. Rose, stop. You're being unnecessarily cruel. I asked. Am I? Or am I finally telling the truth about this family? What truth? Mask. I said. That you raised Jake to be irresponsible and Crystal to be a parasite. That you've been bleeding me dry for years while convincing yourselves you deserved it. That when I needed you to respect the one thing that was truly mine, you sold it without a second thought. Jake said. We needed the money for the wedding. I replied. You needed a wedding you could afford, not a $200,000 fantasy funded by fraud. Crystal screamed. It wasn't fraud. I asked. Then why are the police investigating it? She said. Because you called them. I replied. I didn't call anyone. The bank called them when they discovered forged documents. Tom's voice was broken now. Rose, what do you want from us? What will it take to fix this? I said. Nothing. Tom asked. Nothing. I replied. There's nothing you can do to fix this, Tom. You can't unforge my signature. You can't unsell my apartment. You can't undo 6 years of taking me for granted. Tom asked. So that's it. You're just going to abandon your family. I said. You abandoned me the moment you decided to steal from me. Tom said. We're still your family. I replied. No, you're not. Family doesn't treat each other the way you've treated me. Crystal pleaded. Rose, please. Hung up. The phone immediately started ringing again. I unplugged it from the wall. My cell phone buzzed with text after text. Rose, please call us back. We're sorry. Don't do this to us. You're destroying our family. Please, Rose, we need you. I turned off my phone and sat in the darkness of my bedroom. For the first time in years, the silence felt peaceful. No one was asking me for money. No one was expecting me to fix their problems. No one was taking me for granted. I was finally free. 4 days later, the dominoes were still falling. I turned my phone back on to find 156 missed calls and 103 voicemails. But it wasn't just my family calling anymore. Linda called first thing in the morning. Her voice tight with barely contained excitement. Rose, you need to see the news. I asked. What news? She said. Local Channel 9 picked up the story. Family fraud scandal rocks local wedding industry. They interviewed Patricia and 4 other vendors who got cheated. I said. They put it on TV. Linda continued. It gets better. Crystal's Facebook meltdown got picked up by one of those drama channels on YouTube. The video has 3 million views. I pulled up YouTube on my laptop. Sure enough, there was Crystal's face in the thumbnail mid-screen with a caption, entitled "Bride's Family Commits Fraud for Dream Wedding." The comments are savage, Linda continued. Everyone's calling her the poster child for spoiled brat syndrome. I asked, "What about Tom?" Linda said, "Tom got arrested yesterday." I nearly dropped my phone. "What?" she explained. "Disorderly conduct at the bank. Apparently. He went in demanding they release the frozen funds and started screaming at the tellers when they explained about the fraud investigation." I said, "Jesus." Linda continued, "He's out on bail. But Rose, this is getting serious fast. The DA's office is considering formal charges." My laptop chimed with an email from an address I didn't recognize. The subject line read, "Information you need to see." "Linda, I'm getting strange emails now," said. "From who?" I opened the message. "Someone named Marcus from the bank. He says he has information about Tom's financial situation that I need to see." Linda said, "The loan officer who contacted you before?" Said, "Yeah. He's asking if we can video chat." Linda said, "Do it. Put me on mute but keep me on the line." I called Marcus's number. He answered immediately, looking nervous. "Rose, thank you for calling. I probably shouldn't be doing this, but I felt you deserved to know the full extent of what's been happening." I asked, "What do you mean?" He said, "Tom and Jake have been trying to take out loans using your name and credit for months, even before the apartment sale." "That's identity theft," I said. Marcus nodded. "We flagged it and denied the applications, but they kept trying. Different banks, different loan officers. They've been desperate for cash for a long time." I asked, "How long?" He said, "Based on what I can see, they've been living paycheck to paycheck since 2020. Without your secret payments, they would have lost everything years ago." I said, "Tom told me he got a raise at work." Marcus shook his head. "Tom was laid off 20 months ago. He's been collecting unemployment and doing small jobs, but it's nowhere near enough to maintain their lifestyle." My stomach dropped. "They've been lying about everything." Marcus continued, "There's more. Crystal has been running up credit card debt in Jake's name. Designer clothes, spa treatments, wedding planning expenses. We're talking about $80,000 in debt." "80,000? Gasp," Marcus said. "And that's just what I can see from our bank. There are probably other creditors." I asked, "Marcus, why are you telling me this?" He replied, "Because they're trying to blame you for their financial problems. They filed a complaint with the police claiming you've been financially abusing them, withholding money that rightfully belongs to the family." I said, "That's insane." Marcus nodded. "I know, but they're desperate. And desperate people do desperate things. I wanted you to have the full picture before you meet with the police." After he hung up, I unmuted Linda. "Did you hear all that?" She said, "Every word. Rose, they're trying to frame you as the bad guy." "Of course they are. But here's the thing. All this information Marcus just gave me, it proves they've been committing fraud for months, not just with my apartment." My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "This is David, Crystal's father. Can we talk? There's something you need to know about Jake and Crystal." I showed Linda the message. She said, "Answer it." Called David back. "Rose, thank God. I've been trying to reach you." I asked, "What's going on?" David said, "Crystal's been calling my business partners trying to get them to pay for the wedding. She told them you're mentally unstable and that our families need to manage the situation together." "She what?" "Yes," David continued. "She's claiming you've had a mental breakdown and that's why you're destroying the family. She wants my business partners to give her money and help her get you committed for psychiatric evaluation." I said, "You're kidding." David replied, "I wish I was." Rose, Crystal actually believes this story. She's convinced herself that you're the villain and she's the victim. I asked. What did your partners say? David said. They told her to lose their number. My business associates have been dealing with con artists for decades. We know the signs. I said. I'm sorry you got dragged into this. David replied. Don't be. I'm grateful I found out what kind of family Jake comes from before it was too late. I asked. David, can I ask you something? He said, sure. I said, did Crystal ever mention that I was supporting Tom financially? David replied, never. She always talked about how selfish you were, how you made all this money as a nurse, but never shared it with the family. She said you were jealous of her relationship with Jake. I said, she had no idea I was paying their bills. David said, none. Rose, I think Crystal is genuinely delusional. She's created this fantasy where she's the perfect daughter-in-law and you're the evil mother-in-law who ruins everything out of spite. After we hung up, Linda whistled low. She's actually trying to get you committed. That's a new low, even for Crystal. Linda, my phone's lighting up again. I looked at the screen. Multiple missed calls from numbers I didn't recognize. Reporters, I realized. The story's getting bigger. Linda asked. Are you going to talk to them? I said, hell no. But I am going to do something else. Linda asked. What? I opened my laptop and started typing. I'm going to post the truth. All of it. Bank records, legal documents, everything. Linda said. Rose, are you sure? Once you put this out there, there's no taking it back. I replied, good. I want everyone to know exactly what kind of people they are. I uploaded the documents to a secure file sharing site and started writing a detailed post explaining everything. The years of financial support, the forged signatures, the fraud, the lies. There, I said, hitting publish. Let's see them spin this. Within minutes, my post was being shared across multiple platforms. The evidence was clear. Timeline obvious. My phone rang. It was a number I didn't recognize. Rose, this is Detective Martinez. We need to talk. I asked. About what? He said, Tom just filed a restraining order against you, claiming harassment and financial abuse. But based on the evidence you just posted online, I think we need to have a very different conversation. I asked, what kind of conversation? He replied, the kind where we discuss pressing charges against them for fraud, identity theft, and filing false police reports. I smiled for the first time in days. Detective, I'd be happy to cooperate with that investigation. The hunter had become the hunted, and I was just getting started. The courtroom was packed when the hearing day arrived. Detective Martinez had fast-tracked the case once my evidence went public, and the media attention made it impossible to ignore. I sat in the front row watching Tom at the defendant's table. He looked like he'd aged 15 years in 3 weeks. Jake sat beside him, constantly wiping his eyes with tissues. Crystal sat behind them, glaring at me with pure hatred. All rise for the Honorable Judge Thompson. The judge was a no-nonsense man in his 60s who'd clearly read every document in the case file. This is a preliminary hearing for charges of fraud, identity theft, and filing false police reports against Thomas Gill and Jake Gill. Mrs. Rose, you're the complainant. I said, yes, Your Honor. Mr. Thomas, you're representing yourself? Tom stood up shakily. Yes, Your Honor. We couldn't afford a lawyer. Judge Thompson said, I see. And Miss Crystal, you're here as a witness. Crystal said loudly, I'm here to tell the truth about Rose's lies. Judge Thompson said sharply, you'll speak when spoken to. He continued, now let's review the evidence. The prosecutor laid it out step by step. The forged signatures, the fraudulent sale, the years of financial support my family had accepted while planning to steal from me, the attempted identity theft for additional loans. Your Honor, Tom said when given the chance to speak. We're family. Rose has been supporting us for years. We thought the apartment was a family asset. Judge Thompson asked, Mr. Thomas, did you forge your wife's signature on legal documents? Tom replied, well, yes, but... The judge interrupted. Did you sell property that belonged to her without her knowledge or consent? Tom said, technically yes, but she wasn't using it. Judge Thompson said firmly, Mr. Thomas, there is no technically when it comes to fraud. You either committed these crimes or you didn't. Jake stood up, tears streaming down his face. Your Honor, Rose has been playing games with our family for years. She's been secretly controlling our finances, manipulating us. Judge Thompson replied, Mr. Jake, your mother-in-law was voluntarily paying your bills. That's called generosity, not manipulation. Jake protested, but she never told us. Judge Thompson said, she had no obligation to tell you. The money was hers to give or withhold as she saw fit. Crystal couldn't contain herself anymore. She jumped up and screamed. She ruined my wedding. She destroyed our family out of spite. Judge Thompson said, Miss Crystal, you're out of order. Bailiff, remove Miss Crystal from my courtroom. I watched as security escorted my screaming daughter-in-law out. Even now, she couldn't accept responsibility for anything. Your Honor, the prosecutor continued, the defendants have also filed false police reports claiming the victim was financially abusing them when in fact she was supporting them. Judge Thompson said, I've reviewed those reports. They're clearly retaliatory and without merit. Tom tried one more time. Your Honor, we're willing to make restitution. We can pay Rose back. Judge Thompson asked, with what money, Mr. Thomas? According to the financial records, you're completely broke. Tom said desperately, we'll figure something out. We're family. Judge Thompson replied, Mr. Thomas, you forfeited the right to claim family loyalty when you committed fraud against your wife. The judge's ruling was swift and decisive. Tom got 20 months in minimum security prison. Jake got 15 months in probation. Both were ordered to pay full restitution, though everyone knew they'd never be able to. As the courtroom cleared, Linda squeezed my shoulder. How do you feel? I said honestly. Empty. Satisfied, but empty. Linda said, that's normal. You did the right thing. I asked, did I? I just sent my husband and his brother to prison. Linda replied, you held them accountable for their crimes. There's a difference. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed us. I gave a brief statement about the importance of financial boundaries and family accountability, then got in Linda's car. Where to? She asked. I said, the apartment. I want to see it. We drove to my old building in silence. The doorman Roberto recognized me immediately. Mrs. Rose, we heard about the trouble. I'm so sorry. I said, thank you, Roberto. Is the apartment still empty? He replied, yes, ma'am. The sale was cancelled, so it's still yours. I took the elevator up to the 12th floor and opened the door to my home. Everything was exactly as I'd left it 10 months ago. My nursing books on the shelves, my photos on the walls, my life frozen in time. It feels different, I told Linda. She asked, how so? I said, smaller, like it belongs to someone else. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. I almost ignored it, then saw it was from David. Rose, I wanted you to know Crystal's been telling everyone you bribed the judge and fabricated evidence. She started a GoFundMe to fight your lies. It has $15 in donations. I showed Linda the message. She's never going to change, is she? Linda said, probably not. But that's not your problem anymore. I asked, what about Tom? Linda asked, what about him? I said, he's going to prison because of me. Linda replied, he's going to prison because he committed crimes. You didn't make him forge your signature, Rose. You didn't make him steal from you. I walked to the window and looked out at the city skyline. Somewhere out there, my husband was dealing with the consequences of his actions. Crystal was probably posting more rants on social media. Jake was probably still trying to figure out how to blame me for their situation. Linda, I said. Yeah, she replied. I said, I want to sell this place. Linda asked, really? I replied, yeah. Too many bad memories now. I want to start fresh somewhere else. Linda asked. Where will you go? I said, I don't know yet. Maybe move closer to my sister in Florida. Maybe try somewhere completely new. Linda asked, what about your family? I turned away from the window. What family? The people I married into are strangers. They showed me exactly who they are when they thought I was powerless to stop them. Linda asked, do you regret it? Any of it? I thought about the question seriously. The years of financial support, the secret payments, the elaborate revenge, the public humiliation, the criminal charges. No, I said finally. I regret that it came to this, but I don't regret standing up for myself. For the first time in my marriage, I chose me over them. Linda asked, and how does that feel? I said, terrifying, liberating, lonely. Pause. But right. My phone rang. It was Detective Martinez. Rose, I wanted to let you know we've had 5 other families come forward with similar stories after seeing your case in the news. Spouses stealing from spouses, forging signatures, financial abuse. Your case is opening doors for other victims. I said, that's good, I guess. Detective Martinez said, it is good. You stood up for yourself and now others feel empowered to do the same. After he hung up, I looked around the apartment one more time. Ready to go? Linda asked. I said, yeah, I'm ready. We locked up and headed for the elevator. As the doors closed, I caught my reflection in the polished metal. I looked different. Older maybe. Definitely harder but also free. Linda, I said. Yeah, she replied. I said, thank you for everything. Linda said, that's what friends are for. I said, real friends, you mean? She replied, the only kind worth having. As we walked out of the building, I deleted Tom's contact information from my phone, then Jake's, then Crystal's, then every relative who'd sent me angry messages about destroying the family. The phone felt lighter in my hand. Some bridges are meant to burn. And sometimes the only way to save yourself is to walk away from the ashes and never look back. I was finally free to find out who I was when I wasn't busy being everyone else's solution. And for the first time in years that felt like enough. Thanks for watching Granny's Voice.